Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing. Hi guys, welcome to episode 165 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. I'm super glad you're here today. It's so nice to know we have something in common, doesn't it? I mean, we're all working towards a life that just keeps getting better and better. We know we don't have to be on the work, eat, watch TV, sleep, get up and work again plan, right? We know that life is what we make of it. Most of that surrounds our thoughts, but a lot of it has to do with our clarity of how we want our life to be. Have you thought about that? I know in episode 164, the last episode, I basically begged you to make a life mood board. Okay, so maybe I didn't beg, but the reason I feel so strongly about it is it's an extremely good way to show you what a magnificent creator you are when you really set your mind to something you want. So many people have things they want in life, but they don't change anything they're doing and then wonder why they aren't getting it. Doing what you've always done will get you what you've always had. Now, I have a question for you. Do you have a plan for your life, or are you living a life that's built by circumstance? And really think about it, because when I was thinking about it for myself, I realized that in some ways I've had a plan, and in other areas I haven't. When I've had a plan, I usually end up with a version of the plan that's exactly what was meant for me. When I haven't had a plan, though, I notice I'm sometimes living and doing things that meet other people's agenda instead of mine. So, for example, our renovation. I planned that thing down to the finest detail. I mean, my design plan, mood board, and sketches were very specific. And it turned out looking almost identical to the plan that I created. Now, there were a couple things that were different, but only because I liked something better, or we had to pivot because a wall was load-bearing, so the beam had to stay. But ultimately, it's exactly the way I wanted because I knew exactly what I wanted. Had I not, who knows how my cabinets would look, for instance. I had so many pictures of the exact color and style of cabinet I wanted that nothing else would do. And I didn't stop until I found exactly the right stain and style. Had I not had that clarity, I would have had to have chosen from the standard color the cabinet company used. Or maybe someone would have talked me into a painted color because it's easier. But there's no way that was going to happen because I had 100% clarity on what I wanted, and nothing was going to deter me from that. My mood board was crucial in every aspect of that process. I created that space by knowing exactly what I wanted, and the right people fell into place because of it. Now, I couldn't do it alone. None of us can, but the universe will send you the right people at the right time. You just have to be willing to trust yourself to know, and then line up with the things that feel right. Now, another example, about maybe a year and a half ago or so, my niece and I made life boards together, life mood boards. Now, I put lots of pictures on there, but one of the main things I did was I wanted my body to look a specific way. So I cut out a bunch of pictures and with an emphasis on health. And then I actually added the body fat percentage goal on my board. So I had something to measure. I was really specific on that. I also had lots of pictures of steel and glass floor to ceiling windows. And this was well before we had a plan for a renovation. Oh, and guess what? During the renovation, I had to put that life board away into storage, so I didn't even see it every day. When I was putting my office back together, I pulled out that board and I realized how many of the things on there I reached in the last 8 months. I had so much clarity on what I wanted. Now, even when you're not looking at your mood board every day, your mind knows what you want because you've told it. And it'll work towards it every single day. Clarity is so important. And once you have that clarity, though, you want to make sure that you're open to and say yes to the signs and things that pop up in your path that lead to what you want. But those signs, they have to get through to you. You get what you focus on. Now, I knew I wanted these things, and then I would make sure that when something was put on my path that lined up with it, I said yes to it. I also left space for the things to be allowed in. Every day, I quieted my mind during meditation for at least 15 minutes, and I do that every single day. I have for the last several years. And then I also make sure that I'm expanding my brain and staying in alignment with what I wanted by reading articles and books on those things and of things that I ultimately want. Now, sure, I get distracted and I go down rabbit holes of COVID and politics and drama. I've not been shy about that. You know that. But it's down to about 20 minutes a day that I allow myself to do that. Because left to its own free will, my brain would spend hours looking at that drama of the week. You know that social media and the news, they get paid for the amount of time you spend on their site. So they have to keep you interested, and they're masters at doing that. But remember, that is someone else's agenda, not yours. How often are you focused on what you want for your life? Picture this. Now, I don't think this is you listening because you're different. But let's say a person's day looked like this. They wake up, blast music in the car on the way to work, they get to work, and in between work, maybe lunch breaks, they scroll on social media or the news. Then they blast music on the way home, and then they get home to chaos. Maybe there's clutter and noise, and then they watch TV during dinner. They check the news again before going to sleep. Then they get up and start the whole process over again. What is their life going to look like 5 years from now? I mean, whatever happens, their life is going to be a life of circumstance. Because when are they allowing time for growth, for making themselves better? Is that person going to be a better version of themselves in 5 years? Odds are they're probably going to be right where they are, not growing or maybe even digressing. Because there's really no time for self-awareness and self-reflection. There's no time for creation. They're only consuming. And we're happiest when we're creating. That's how we're built. When we have vision and hope and an optimistic future because we're working on something that juices us, that's when we feel the most alive. And look, I'm not judging anyone. I have no right to do that, nor do I want to. I just want us all to be the best version of ourselves. And it's different for each of us. But the recipe for that calls for self-awareness and self-love and clarity of what you want. If you have something that you've been wanting, what are you doing to make that happen? Are you doing something every day that puts you on the path to getting that? There's a story I love. Actually, my husband loves it more because he actually has a Maserati. But anyway, there is a man that decided once he achieved a certain level of income, he would reward himself with this fabulous Maserati, a very specific Maserati, because he tore a picture, a full-page ad from a magazine, and put it on his wall at home. Every time he would get in his old jalopy car, he imagined he was in this brand new blue Maserati. He imagined how his neighbors would watch him drive, how the leather smelled, how the steering wheel felt in his hands. He knew exactly what he wanted with perfect clarity. He wanted it to look just like the one he tore out of the magazine. So when the time came and he had the money, he went to the dealership and he ordered his perfect car with that perfect color. And in a few weeks, they said, "Hey, it's in, come get it." He couldn't wait to see it. But when they brought it out, he realized it was blue, but not the exact blue he had ordered. Subtly different. "This is not the color I ordered," he said. "It's similar, but the color I ordered was a subtle shade different." So they checked the paperwork, and sure enough, it was the wrong blue. They tried everything to get him to take this car. They even offered a significant discount. It was a brand new car, but he wouldn't settle. So then they said, "Look, okay, we have a car with that exact color on the showroom floor. It's our show car. It's exactly the car you ordered, but it has all of the expensive bells and whistles. Now, it's been driven to show, so it has 1,000 miles on it, but it's new with the same new car warranty, and we'll give it to you for no extra charge." He was like, "I'm not taking a secondhand car." Well, they talked him into at least taking a look at it. He was speechless when he saw it. It was exactly everything he was wanting. He gets in and he smells the leather and feels the steering wheel. It's exactly what he wanted. So he said, "Okay, you've got a deal." So everyone was happy. When he got home and he saw his vision board with the Maserati he had torn out of the magazine, it was the actual car he was in. That was his car. They were driving to shows and it had been photographed. He manifested his actual car. The universe works in miraculous ways. What you want is waiting for you. My challenge to you this week is to get clarity. It doesn't have to be on everything, maybe just one thing you've been wanting. Maybe your body goals, maybe your organization goals, maybe your career goals. Get clarity, then visualize it. Create a mood board, even if it's a digital one, but be very specific. That's the first thing. The second thing is to carve out time where you quiet your mind, however that works for you. When you're filling your mind with noise, you may miss the signs. Consumption brings us confusion, especially right now. But clarity brings us the ability to have whatever we desire. And then sit back and watch the universe put things in your path that line up with it. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you in a few days. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.